The fire began with a faulty power strip in a bedroom on the 15th floor of an apartment building in China's far west. Firefighters spent 3 hours putting it out, too slow to prevent at least 10 deaths. Many people suspected that a COVID lockdown had hampered rescue effort or trapped victims inside their homes, and though officials denied that had happened, angry comments flooded social media and residents took to the streets in the city where the fire erupted. Now, the episode in Urumqi, the capital of Xinjiang region, has unleashed the most defiant eruption of public anger against the ruling Communist Party in years. In cities across China this weekend, thousands gather with candles and flowers to mourn the fire's victims. On campuses, students staged vigils, many holding up pieces of blank white paper in mute protest. While many protesters limited their appeals to the loosening of COVID restrictions, some seized the chance to make broader political demands, linking the draconian reach of zero COVID to the country's authoritarianism system. In Shanghai, some residents even called for the Communist Party and its leader Xi Jinping to step down, a rare and bold challenge. On Sunday, hundreds of students gather on the campus of Tsinghua University in northwest Beijing, where they have been largely prohibited from leaving for weeks because of COVID restrictions. The crowd chanted democracy and rule of law. Later in the day, Tsinghua University announced that it would be offering students free air and rail travel home this week. Near Liangma River in Beijing on Sunday night, at least 100 people gathered to light candles and hold up sheets of white paper, an implicit protest of censorship. The crowd shouted encouragement to the protesters in Shanghai, while passing drivers honked their horns. Other footage showed hundreds of people marching down a nearby street, chanting that they wanted freedom, not constant COVID tests. In Wuhan, the central Chinese city where the pandemic originated in late 2019, hundreds walked along the streets, some pulling down barriers that had been put up to enforce neighborhood lockdowns. The outpouring has created new pressures on Mr. Xi only a month after he secured a third term as party head, sealing his status as China's most dominant leader in decades. The broader source of ire is his zero-COVID strategy, which seeks to eliminate infections with lockdowns, quarantines, and mass testing. The protests followed hopes that COVID restrictions would gradually ease after officials in Beijing released a 20-point plan this month to limit the scope of pandemic measures. Based on the plan, people had expected local governments to scale back contact tracing and mass quarantines. But when COVID cases surged, officials revived the same sweeping tactics. Protests are relatively rare in China. Especially under Mr. Xi, the party has eliminated most means for organizing people to take on the government. But the pervasiveness of China's COVID restrictions has created a focus for anger that transcends class and geography. Migrant workers struggling with food shortages and joblessness during weeks-long lockdowns, university students held on campuses, urban professionals chafing at travel restrictions, the roots of their frustrations are the same. From the International Desk, this is Saisu, New York.